Oh, no, I'll be so comfy, man. Stuck in the, it'll be in my chaotic parking lot.
Okay.
In the car.
It is 7:06. We have a quorum. We're going to get started. First, adoption of agenda or agenda changes. Do we have any? Any changes? Any additions? Agenda approved without objection. Okay. Any communication from the public on non-agenda items?
I have something real quick, and it's related to the sheet in front of you. Last month, we talked a little bit about Crossroads because some money was going somewhere outside of our area. And Danielle said, hey, let's find out about Crossroads a little. So I did a little research. I haven't done a ton, but I did find this page here that shows funding that has gone to many county and educational uses in the amount of 1.3, almost $1.4 million. And I looked up Tracy Reed. He retired in 2020, so he's no longer a source for information at this point. And I looked at another report that was related to this one, and it had payments made to certain projects within other redevelopment areas. And because redevelopment is a debt funding thing, you have to create the debt and then the dollars go to the repayment of a debt. And the only project that we had approved in the redevelopment area was one where Boulevard 63 ended up being built. And it was going to be, I think, Lehman Brothers, and Lehman Brothers went under that year.
Lehman?
Yeah, Lehman Brothers. Yeah.
Is it Lehman?
Lehman,
Brothers.
whatever. So
I'm asking about the spelling, Bob.
Oh, L-E-H.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
yeah, they went under that year. And so we never, I don't think, created any debt for the money in our Crossroads area tax increment that they collected to be spent against. So I think the next step is to find out who is in the city of San Diego department right now who could maybe help us figure out if there's any way to create debt for the library. And then maybe we can get some of this funding to the library. Now, I did a quick subtraction of the figure that's up above the 4.4 million, and then took away all the allocations that they show and came up with just over 3 million. But 3 million would probably get a lot done for that little library, even though I think they're looking at 11 or 12. But 3 could help. So
Any amount helps.
that's the next step.
Okay. Thanks, Laura.
Could you email this out to the members who are not here tonight, please?
Sure.
That would be great.
I think I have the whole report. So this is just the last page out of the report. So I'll send it to everybody.
Great, thanks.
Great. Thank you. Becky Rapp, do you have a non-agenda comment to make tonight? You're muted.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, my name is Becky Rapp, and I'm here concerned regarding the city's plan to expand the marijuana market, removing the sensitive use protectors. And the Cannabis Business Division, or the CBD, plans to present to CPC at the September meeting next month. And I believe strongly that this is a land use issue. Several planning groups that I've spoken to asked the CBD to formally present the proposal regarding the expansion and the removal of sensitive uses to their planning groups prior to CPC in order to get a consensus from the group regarding how the representative of CPC should vote. And these planning groups were denied a presentation by the city. At the Land Use and Housing Committee meeting last month, Laura Gates, the director of the CBD, did say that they intended to make a few changes to the proposal. Originally, they had planned to allow for 36 new pot shops to locate anywhere in the city. But now they're planning to create 3 zones for 12 pot shops to locate in each zone, still totaling 36. But these 3 zones are broken down by the first zone north of Interstate 8, the second between I-8 and 94, and the third zone south of 94. Laura Gates stated at this meeting, we pared it down significantly. We're looking at taking out a lot of commercial zones that had been previously proposed. We took a hard look at La Jolla and we removed a number of locations there as well as Mission Beach. My question is why these communities are now excluded and not required to have additional pot shops. She also said that they heard loud and clear from CPC that these communities did not want pot shops. I was at that previous CPC meeting and I did not hear her say, or anyone from the CBD committee, I'm sorry, from CPC state that they wanted those neighborhoods excluded. So it's concerning that some neighborhoods are not going to be impacted by this pot shop expansion while others will be inundated. And I believe that the department, the Cannabis Business Division, should be required to present to planning groups, especially those designated in these 3 zones prior to the next CPC meeting. And I just am here to ask you if you have asked for a presentation and if you've heard anything back. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Any other comments on agenda comments? Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to representative reports. And first up is Roberto Marant from District 9. Hi, Roberto.
Hi, Elaine. Thank you so much for letting me on here tonight. Thank you to all that are attending. My name is Roberto Marin. I'm the new community rep encompassing specifically for this meeting, Rolando Park, Redwood Village, Choyas Creek. Our office also encompasses El Cerrito, Rolando. Just want to give you a brief update. I'm going to start off with the tree situation. Bob, Lynn, and John met this past week. We were discussing about the trees from 54th all the way to Aragon. Our office is really wanting to get re-engaged on this issue. We believe that the unfortunate events with Sandag and only having 1 tree between Aragon and College Avenue is very unfortunate. So I've been reaching out to Sandag to make sure that we can not only make sure that we get community input in there, but also make sure we have trees. This has been primarily a concern for not only folks in that area, but also in Redwood Village. I've grown up in Redwood Village actually for quite some time, and the trees and such have not been maintained. We just needed to be addressed. So we're working on that. We're looking to partner up with hopefully SDG&E and their urban forestry as well. We're also looking at possibly reaching out to some state and federal agencies or stakeholders as well. So I'm very excited that we're going to launch this. Hopefully we'll have an update at the next meeting, but we just started this process. And if you would like to, make an input or suggest a comment or anything like that, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat, and I'm glad to connect with you. In terms of Choice Parkway, I know it's been a hot topic for about a couple months. The encampment was cleared about a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, I went out there a week ago, and there is an encampments going back there again. There's actually a new one, which is in the beginning, going towards university and college. It's right at the end of Choice Parkway. It's like where there's gate and brush. So I have flagged it for stormwater, not only to fix the fence, but to make sure that they fix it properly and get a new fence in there. It's quite ridiculous that we have a chain fence and it just keeps getting broken into. It defeats the purpose. I've also asked them to clear out the channel in there. I took pictures in there. I actually went inside myself. It's disgusting. It's horrendous. I think our constituents deserve better. And so I've asked the stormwater department to follow up on that. They were going to follow up with me no later than next week. So I'll provide an update to everyone as followed. I know a couple of roads got repaved. Jeffrey, who's the community rep for El Cerrito, let me know that a couple of roads have been paved. A long time coming, a lot of construction issues there as well. So most of that is resolved. We're still working on that. But Jeff wanted me to pass that. Also, lastly, if you are in the Rolando area, I know Bob, you are too, but you might know this already. Marianne Osman, who is our Deputy Chief of Staff, has stepped in. Naveed is no longer with our office, so we are making that transition. Marianne is in charge of anything Rolando and Kensington. So if you have any inquiries there, please let Marianne know, and I'll also drop her information there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto.
A question, please?
Yes,
Roberto, can you repeat the names of the people that met about trees? And I just wanted to confirm that this is along University Ave.
Correct. Yes, this is, I want to clarify that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, University Avenue. So it's going to start from 54th all the way to Aragon. Lynn, myself, John, and Bob have met. Again, if you would like to meet about this issue, I'm more than welcome to meet with you via on Zoom, via in person. So yeah.
Okay, so three members of our board met with you.
it's our subcommittee.
Got it.
Yeah,
Committee. Yes, correct.
thank you. And Roberto, you won't be able to drop anything into the chat because we turn it off for transparency, but feel free to send it to me via email and I will distribute it to the board.
Absolutely. Thank
Wait,
you.
I'll just send you. Anyway,
You're
I'll
good.
I'll share your contact information after the meeting. Thanks. Anyone else have a question for Roberto?
I have a question, Roberto, about the funding for this, but the maintenance. Is that being handled special, not through a MAD or anything like that, but the city has found funding to maintain the trees?
We don't know yet.
So as Lynn said, we don't know yet, and that's the thing that frustrates not only me but everyone that's working on this. I'm trying to get an answer. I've emailed them. I'm also requesting Lucero from the mayor's office to help me on this, just because I just feel like it just keeps going back and forth between departments, and I'd want to know a definite answer on that. So I'll definitely get back to you on that.
Okay. Thanks, Roberto.
One more thing, Roberto, I just wanted to say thank you for keeping your eye on the Choyas Creek encampments. Because every year, or not every year, but about every other year, there's a fire and it burns up to those houses. And it's, been really fortunate that no one's house is caught on fire, but we've seen it a few times since we've lived here where the helicopter's going over to Choyas Lake and picking up water and then coming right over here to dump it. So that's a super important place to keep the encampments out of. So thank you for that.
Yeah, just a small note on that. The council president, although is very compassionate to the unsheltered individuals and wants to make sure they get shelter beds and such and their services that they need, he's also concerned about the safety and the well-being of his constituents. It's important not only to him, but it's important to me personally, just because I've grown up in this area and, I'm always out there every other day at Shores Parkway, whether it's illegal dumping, whether it's a chain, I'm always out there. And, if people want to question if I am out there or not, I have a track record of me going out there every other day. So I'm always filing get it done reports. Like I mentioned before, I think in the previous meeting, I take an hour of my day just to go to Choice Parkway, Streamview, literally, just in that whole vicinity, Rolando Park, just because there's so much action, there's so much activity. I just go every other day just to make sure. I know people already flag it, but for me, just to make sure that it gets addressed and for me to follow up with staff. I know for the Choice encampment, council president is very concerned about the fire safety. Not only that, but all across Choice Creek in general. So we're just trying to take a really hands-on approach, in ensuring that not only the encampments are abated, but also that the brush is being cut and it's maintained. So we're also in contact with Parks and Rec, who manages that small sliver of Choice Parkway, to make sure that they're doing their due diligence and making sure that no fire risk is there. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. Excuse me, I had a little bit of a cough. Next up is Tony Duran from State Senator Tony Atkins' office in person. We're very happy to see you again. Applause. Thank you,
You all
Tony.
started meeting in person when I was on leave.
Yeah, yeah, sort of.
think it was like the month before I missed it. I was like, oh no, you're in person now. Well, so as Lynn said, I'm Tony Duran, Senate President Pro Tem, Tony Atkins' office. It'll be a short update because the last 4 weeks, the legislature has been on summer recess. So the senator spent some time in San Diego, and then she spent some time with family out of state to kind of reset. But July 1st did start the 2023-2024 fiscal year. And that meant we had a newly signed budget that was agreed upon by the governor, the Senate, and the Assembly. And I believe Gonzalo talked to you about that last month. But, you know, we really want to highlight too that Senator Atkins was successful in advocating for about $18 million to come to San Diego for San Diego specific projects. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to do that this year because of some of the budget shortfalls, but she was very successful in getting that done. And then on July 6th, when she was serving as acting governor, she became the first Senate President Pro Tem to actually sign legislation into law, making her also the first LGBT person to do that. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. She got to be governor and sign some stuff. But they're headed back to Sacramento on Monday, and all of her bills right now are on track to make it through and get through the whole process before the legislature comes to an end in September. So we should have another update for you at that point. And you can always check out the website for the monthly newsletter or sign up for it. I can't put it in the chat, but but I can always get you a link, give you my business card if you want to reach out. And that's all I've got for you tonight.
Okay,
But it is very nice to see you all.
it's great to see you again. Thank you.
Yes.
You mentioned the bills that are on track. Do you have a list of them so that we can go in and kind of review them?
Yeah, I can send you a link. Like I have a few written down.
Because we weren't fond of what turned out to be SB 10.
That was Senator Weiner. That was his bill.
But she was also involved with it.
Well, the whole Senate and
Oh.
I mean, it has to go through the whole, all of the Senate, then to the Assembly, and then back to the Senate. So there's a lot of updates that happen back and forth, and the governor has input. You know, as you can see, none of the cities have picked it up yet to try it out. San Diego was trying to be the first, but there's still a lot of work to do to see, you know, how it could benefit each city and counties. So there's a lot of work for various cities to do. But right now, so she's got SB 385 that helps expand the network of abortion providers in California. It helps expand and modernize. That is a word. Modernize training for physician assistants. SB 487 would ensure that any health insurer or healthcare provider plan cannot penalize a licensed California healthcare provider who would perform an abortion or gender affirming care in services, which means another state can't come up after our healthcare providers if they provide services for a patient that comes to California. And she's got SB 447, which is the bridge project that would basically lift the travel ban that we have. Not only has the travel ban affected, you know, LGBT folks, it affects various state entities. Say you have a sports team at a local college, which this has happened multiple times, and they're in some sort of tournament. They have to fundraise to get themselves to play in tournaments that are in one of these states. And unfortunately, there's so many states that are on that list. It makes it difficult, but it also makes it difficult for folks to go to a medical conference or any other conference in another state that would fall under this. So it involves a lot of finesse to kind of work with that, but it's kind of one of those where you need to go and reach out to these other states to make sure people don't feel alone. For me, that's kind of how I explain it, to make sure that they know that they shouldn't be facing some of the challenges that they do in their state because of maybe some of their legislators. But I can send you more information. I'm really kind of stumbling over explaining it, but I can definitely send you more information. I'll give you my business card so if you want to send me a quick email. And she doesn't carry a lot of bills because she's a pro tem. And unfortunately, sometimes people will want to say, well, I'll pass your bill if you do this or that. So she doesn't want a bill to be that could help the city or help the state be something that people play with to get what they want. So a lot of times she will have meetings with folks and they'll say, this is a bill I'd like for you to carry. She thinks it's a great bill, but she'll hand it off to another senator to carry to help it along a little easier.
Thanks,
All right.
Jenny.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. We do not have any other representatives tonight. Lucero sent an email with some information that I'll send out. She sent it about 10 minutes before the meeting started, so I'll send it out later tonight. And Bruce sent a text that he will not be here tonight. So that is all of our representative reports. So we are on to our one action item tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to Ramon Uribe from Groundwork. You might have noticed Ramon has been attending our meetings for several months now. Sort of keeping an eye on us, I guess. Ramon, it's up. The floor is yours.
Can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Can I ask you to pause for 1 minute? Sam, did you have any reports to give?
I do. You want me to do it now or after?
Do you want to wait for about 20 minutes? Okay, we're going to go ahead then. Thanks.
Well, I hope everyone's doing well. Good evening. My name is Ramon Uribe. I am the Community Engagement Manager with Groundwork San Diego. As y'all may know, the City Council Policy 600-24 set some guidelines and some rules for community planning groups, community planning committees. And I wanted to speak a little bit on their recommendation on the website. And Groundwork San Diego is currently trying to support community planning groups and community planning committees. And before I begin, this would be free of charge to the committee. And we're just trying to, hopefully help y'all meet the guidelines that are put forth. But just to begin, the website's fairly easy to manage and make. What is done, we're doing it through GoDaddy and we'll buy the domain. The example that we're going to use today is the Chollas Valley Community Planning group. And this was the web, like right here on top where it says, where I highlighted, that's what they wanted to put. So that's what we purchased. But just to begin, the homepage, very basic, not basic, but very personalized to the group. We have a logo from Chollas Valley Community Planning Group. Also brief description on who they are, who were they formally recognized as, what communities they support, their vision, their mission, and also more information on when they meet, where those meetings are being held. And recently we helped them start doing hybrid meetings through Zoom, just so we can get more participation and hopefully more engagement from the community. Aside from what I've just mentioned, on the homepage, you're able to do a scroll where you can add recreational centers, what libraries you have in your community, more pictures of Chollas Valley, some of the events that they have put forth, and also have a section where you're able to put upcoming events. In their case, it's Emerald Hills Neighborhood Council meetings, their community planning group meetings, what time, where it's being held. And recently I was fortunate enough to visit the Nationals Night Out at Gompers Park, which happened last Tuesday, I believe. So they put that up since it's a part of their community. And just because of transparency and trying to provide more information to their residents and their community, there's also a section where people can download their agendas, also their meetings, and to increase more, hopefully participation and site visits. You can also attach a hyperlink to your social medias, whether that's Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And then in the bottom where it says, ask us a question or tell us about what your neighborhood needs, this one's gonna be repeated on each section. And on this section, through GoDaddy, which I'll show an example a little bit later towards the presentation, people can put their name, their email, their phone number, and a message of if they want to, volunteer, visit a community meeting, or just ask a question or bring something that they believe that they need in their community. And it'll be sent directly to the GoDaddy website where you're able to see who sent the message and also respond to them directly through direct messages. Another section, if we're able to help and y'all agree with us supporting the committee, you're able to add who is an executive board member, board members, also other members. As some of y'all may know, Sally, she's the chair for Choyas Valley. You'll be able to add the other board members, what community council they're part of, general members, and because we want more people to participate and volunteer and engage, we can also include a promotion of like, if you're interested in joining the board, here's our email, reach out to us, and hopefully we can bring more people in. In the bottom, once again, name, email, phone, and a message. If there's community members or community representatives that want a message through the website, they can do that as well. And one thing that we're supporting Choyas Valley with is they wanted for people to see the city website, that kind of like what the city has, which is very straightforward, meetings, agendas, but it's not personalized. And I think that's something that's very beneficial of the GoDaddy website. You're also able to put any surveys that y'all have and get community input. For this one, it's the Choyas Valley Resident CIP survey, where residents from these neighborhoods are able to say where they're from, what they think needs to change. It's mostly on safety, also other projects that they think the parks and other recreational centers can use. And, because it's important for community members to get a better understanding who their district representative is, Choyas Valley Community Planning Group actually asked us to put a link that directs them towards their district representative. They asked us to include a get it done description and where they can go to visit the website and hopefully, report potholes, illegal dumping, graffiti, or any mist trash that was not picked up, which would be good for residents to get an understanding of that there's a website and there's an app that they can report these issues to and see where that website it's at. Again, advocate for your neighborhood. We want people to see that y'all, if it's something y'all would want, we would include options for them to get involved, send you a message, and whenever if and when that does happen, we'll be able to give y'all kind of a little training on how to manage the website. And for your community, Choyas Valley has a lot of beautiful communities. So we've added the communities that are represented through Choyas Valley. Some of them have websites, so we link their websites so people could get an understanding where they're at, when they meet, and hopefully participate as well. If they don't have a website, we ask members if we can put their information so they can be reached out to. And let me go back. And also provide space, also provide a link where their residents and community members can either, hopefully visit the library or visit the many recreation centers or parks that they have, and provided a link there so people can get more information. And because, as I've mentioned several times already, we want to help support y'all get more engagement, more participation, hopefully volunteers that would like to join in the future. It's the same thing. You would put your name, email, phone number, and a message of who you are, or maybe something else that they would like to bring forth. But for example, when they fill this out, it would go to GoDaddy, and I did this almost 2 months ago. But I put my name, I put my email, my name, forgot to put my number, but it comes out as an inbox, kind of like if it was an email or a Facebook message. With that being said, is this something that the Eastern Area Community Planning Committee would like Groundwork San Diego to support? I'm also here to answer any questions, or if you would like to meet in person, I'm always available, or I'll make the time availability to speak with you all. Do y'all have any questions or any comments for me?
It's great.
Yeah, looks good.
It looks great. Ramon, so would Groundwork be purchasing the domain name for us, for starters?
Yeah, so I think we're also helping Oak Park. So we definitely we'll try to see if it's available. And like, for example, if it would be, hopefully there isn't another Eastern Area community planning committee, but maybe we can put Eastern Area Community Planning Committee.com, and we would purchase that. We would also do I think it's the annual membership for it as well. And I forgot to mention one more thing. But we would also, for example, maybe, I'm not sure if y'all go dark next month, but I can come back next month with a draft website if it's something y'all agree with, and then get any comments or any recommendations as well.
Question, Ramon,
Sure.
is there a monthly cost for the domain hosting? Or the web hosting itself?
So there is a monthly cost, but we're going with the yearly one. We have a grant to support the groups or the committees. So this wouldn't be something that that y'all would have to budget for.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's good, because we don't have a budget.
And if we do have costs, we can get reimbursements for up to $500.
Up to 500, yeah.
It looks like Lorna has a question.
Is Lorna? Yeah, Lorna.
Hey, Lynn, another question. I just wanted to tell Roberto that I like the site. I think it's well done. It's actually beautiful. It's engaging and it's very welcoming. So if we end up were to vote on this, I would approve it and letting them do it. So that's all I want to say.
Well, I don't, I just think we probably ought to start thinking about the content that we want to put on it ourselves, and links to our own communities. One thing I've been thinking about is that we should probably think about putting our videos, since we're doing hybrid meetings, online and make them accessible to everyone. I store them on Google Drive right now for about a year, but we put all of our community council meetings online, so anyone can go back to any meeting we've done in the last 3 years and look at it.
Where are they hosted?
Well, that one's hosted on Facebook, but I'm actually thinking we should think about moving to YouTube and get our own channel. Yeah, let's go big.
That's a great idea.
Go big or go home.
El Cerrito
So-
has its own YouTube channel.
Yeah. Gee, did you know that? And I think the other thing is, let me see, it wouldn't need to be part of this, but we'll need to link to maybe Google Drive, because we're going to have, from time to time, we have very large documents, and we want the community to be able to access those, particularly once our community plan update really gets going. We want that, that information to be available to the public. So that's going to be just something we can link to from there. Anyone online? Bob, Alex?
No, I
Any
think
comments?
it's a great way to go. And I think if we could be linked to all our communities, and like Lorna had indicated, I mean, it looks like the Choice Valley looks like a very inviting website, and it looks like it's easy to use, because I think all our communities beyond Eastern area could benefit by this.
And I think too, we can share events. I'll share
Oh,
all of
yeah,
our
that'd be
events from our
great.
communities. We just need to figure out who's going to be responsible for coordinating that information to get uploaded. But yeah, instead of us sitting here at the end and talking about it, we can actually spread that information around. the
Yeah.
community. So, does everyone think we're okay to maybe to take this to the next step, and next month we'd look at an early prototype of our own website? And I think something we have to think about too, be like by the end of the year, are we going to still be the committee, or are we going to be the group, community planning group? Eastern Area Communities Planning Group or Planning Committee?
Do we have a choice in that, or does the city
yeah.
tell us what to do?
I
They
don't know.
call it CPC still.
So far,
What do our bylaws say? Because I remember talking about this about 10 years ago, Laura.
Well, it was
And-
Community
and we-
Planning's Committee.
It was
Yeah.
a committee,
Bylaws.
and then we just use it as group.
Yeah, but group, some of them are group, a lot of them are committee, and it's still called the CPC. So
yeah. But before we buy a domain name, we should probably talk about that or make
I
sure.
would say that's a good idea.
Or maybe not use committee or group at the end of our name, because I think Choice Valley says Choice Valley Planning, doesn't it?
Eastern
Ramon.
Areas, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it only says Choyas Valley Community Planning,
Yeah, so not worry about
Eastern
community or groups.
either committee or group, and just put, if it's available, yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably
that's easy.
as well.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Very smart.
Yep. Okay, any other questions, comments? Then I think we'll move on to stage 2 and look at a prototype next month, Ramon. We'll put it on the agenda to look at next month.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Thank
Okay.
you, Ramon.
Of
Thank you
course.
so
Thank
much.
for letting me,
Yeah.
let me speak.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks very much, Ramon. Okay, oh, Sam,
I
I almost went right on by you.
Was this an action item? Do we need to do a formal motion and a vote?
No,
Not a formal?
it
Okay.
was more like providing input so that they could, we did approve doing a website a couple of months ago. So this is just about, we want to give them some input and have some ideas ourselves about how we want it to look, but they're way ahead of us, so. And Mr. Gonzalez, nice of you to join us tonight. Are you on recess too?
Yeah, no, good evening, everyone. Sorry. Due to human error, I was late. I went to Southeastern Planning Group instead of Eastern Planning Group. That's all the way in Mountain View. So sorry about that. I do have a couple updates. Firstly, I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Samuel Ernesto Gonzalez. I've lived in City Heights my whole life. I work for Assemblymember Keila Weber. And the first update I have is that our backpack giveaway on July 29th was a great success. We had over 1,000 backpacks ready to go, and over 3 hours they were gone. So that was great. It's an annual event, so we hold it every year. This last month, it was held for the first time in El Cajon due to redistricting. So we had a lot of people from El Cajon show up. Our next big event, and this is the second announcement, is our turkey giveaway in November. And I'm actually requesting your support in the form of volunteers. So if you guys know anyone who wants to get involved or wants to just, help pass out turkeys, let me know, and I'll take your information. It can be, done throughout the course of the month. So we get to let's before November, October. So I think by October, we'll have a nice little sign-in sheet and I'll bring it. And when you guys, have the information ready, just put it in there.
Where's the event taking place this?
Oh, it'll be in Hoover High School in City Heights.
Oh,
So the thing about our office is
Okay.
that we like to rotate events. So, for example, this year, the El Cajon backpack giveaway was in El Cajon because it's new. So next year, it'll probably be somewhere south of the district. And we'll just keep rotating events.
Technically, Hoover High is in Talmadge because it's on the north side of El Cajon Boulevard. I live in Talmadge. So this is always, it serves all of City Heights, Kensington, and Talmadge. So
Yeah.
if you say mid-city,
Mid-city,
then
yes.
you're good.
Say
okay.
mid-city next time.
Talmadge
Say
Drive.
mid-city, don't say
No,
City Heights.
it's
because
really interesting because you bring up a good point about how due to redistricting, there's many communities that we now have that we didn't think of before. So
Mhm.
it's a learning experience at least for me, it is. So
Everybody in City Heights still thinks Hoover's in theirs, but it's
I
on the
still,
north.
I still
Yeah,
think
So if you
so.
say mid-city, then you're golden, okay? Mid-city.
I'll make sure they have that. Yes. I don't believe this group had any legislative requests of me, like, keeping track of bills.
Well, tell us about the bills in.
Right now, we're in the legislative recess, so there's not much activity going on.
Anything during the year that she's been working on that are gonna be upcoming? Even if you don't know exactly the number,
Yeah,
just what it's about.
Yeah, we have, well, what they're about. The emphasis that our particular member has is on healthcare and addressing issues using a medical perspective. So a lot of her bills do come in the form of assisting and supporting those networks that are already established that provide health services. So there's a particular bill that is supposed to do something with California Athletic Trainer Bill. I'm butchering the name because I haven't heard it in a while. I'm not sure what the status of it is, but a lot of her bills do have that theme of, health, medicine, and sports related injuries.
For youth then.
For some for youth and, general for the population. If there's any more specifics you want from that, I'd be more than happy to research it,
It's okay, just if you knew something off the top of your head.
No, it's really, I think we started with about over 20 bills, and this year I think we're still working with about 15. So
Wow.
that's pretty good. From what I understand, it's pretty good. You never want to end up with less than, nothing. So we're really happy with that.
And are most of them healthcare related?
I would say about 50% of them would be tied to healthcare. I would be able to tie that in healthcare, yeah.
That's it. Anything else for Sam? Okay, thanks, Sam. I'm glad you made it. Treasurer's report, I emailed Daryl again and still am not getting a response, so I'm debating about sending him a registered letter at this point. I just don't, if he's not gonna respond, I think we might have to consider moving on.
When's our,
Well, just by missing meetings.
He hasn't been since March,
March?
since
Five?
February.
5,
So,
6?
Yeah,
It's half a
and
year.
we know he's ill.
Yeah, we know he's ill, but
But
when's our election?
September.
Okay, so if we could solve this by electing a new treasurer,
Sure.
okay, that's one possibility.
Well, it's a board position, so we can do that after we elect
Okay,
new members in September. We'll elect a new treasurer. I think
Is his
that's,
spot open?
you up for a reelection? or-
Oh, you mean for Webster?
no,
This is his
No.
first year in it.
Okay, but if he's missing meetings and doesn't qualify to be treasurer, does he qualify to stay on the planning committee?
well,
That
that's,
was my question, essentially.
I did ask him that in the email that I didn't get a response to, if he wanted to remain on the board or not. And I don't know that he's well enough.
It's interesting you bring that up, Lorna. I don't know if our bylaws ever considered a health situation versus just non-interest and not showing up. So maybe in our new terms and conditions is what's going to replace the bylaws, we should differentiate.
I think we should add that information.
Yeah, that would be
Great.
good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not like
maybe
we're all 20.
No, allow someone, there's language in my organizational bylaws about taking a leave of absence. And I think we allow X number of months. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but so that kind of language would probably be useful.
Would,
Yeah. So I'll make a note that's something we'll look
I
at,
can link
our
that
committee
one
will
too.
look at, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. And Bob, we'll push your minutes out to next month.
Yeah, Lynn, I got the minutes together. I'll just share them with you as a draft here in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, we'll review them next month with Danielle's. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm afraid they're a little bit on the long side. I try to keep it to just 3 pages.
Please.
Okay,
It's
I'll try to
very
keep mine
difficult
too.
'cause if you wait too long to put the minutes together, you know, I usually take notes and I usually start with that, and usually that'll be enough. But there were some things that I had forgotten, so I had to go back and look at the video,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
then they grow.
and then it gets too wordy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, take your time. You really can take the rest of another month if you want to.
Yeah, no, I won't.
Okay.
I want to get it done.
Okay, I
I'm
agree.
sorry
Thank
for
you.
so long.
No problem. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
On to subcommittee reports. Alex, election committee update for our September election.
Yeah, for these September elections, I have meet the candidate statements from you, Lynn, Alita, John, Kristen, and Richard. Lorna is may run again for the spot for El Cerrito, but Laura, I thought, might be interested in that spot rather than the at-large position. But when I got to the meeting just now, I heard Laura was concerned about filling out the meet the candidate form. Is that right?
Well, just the address, you know, all of us board members aren't supposed to be having our name, our addresses and phone numbers out on the public documents. So I was surprised. And Lynn said I filled one out last time and probably wrote my address in. I don't recall, but for whatever reason, this time I looked at the address and went, huh, I can see where what you could put your community, but our addresses and our phone numbers, we always keep internal and information for the city, but we don't publish that. And this is, if that statement gets put out to the public, then it's kind of contrary to all the regulations that our boards have had for years and years and years.
But we have been using that form for like 6 years now. Seriously.
At least. Well, yeah, the form doesn't ask for your phone number.
Right.
It
No,
does
but it
ask for
asks
the
for our
address.
address.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
We
Well,
might limit the address to zip code or something to prove that you live in the planning area, because if this committee actually were to make decisions that were unpopular, given the political environment we live in, we're
Exactly.
potentially putting people at risk. Seriously.
yeah.
I mean, our politicians' addresses aren't publicized.
Yeah,
What if
why
we
should-
just
Like that.
list the street without the street address?
Yeah, you could do the street. Although I'll bet you dollars to donuts, anyone can look up anyone's address on the
Yeah.
web. I don't think
For
it's going to
sure.
be a secret.
That's probably
But
true.
I take your
Yeah.
point. The other thing, so we could do the street only, although everyone who so far has given out their address on, and I could certainly change that since I have them, and I could edit them out. The other thing is that to vote in this election, you have to be at the meeting in person, right? So these forms, because I remember they get handed out at the meeting, and what we could do is collect them at the end of the meeting, all of them. Now, that won't stop someone from writing down perhaps your address if they're really that interested. But if you collect them, at the end of the meeting, then I think that would solve that problem of confidentiality, and that way they're not being published in the way that you're thinking, and we're not going to send them out electronically.
I think you could, or just put the neighborhood you
I
live in,
think
like
just the
Redwood
neighborhood.
Village,
Yeah.
El Cerrito or Webster.
Even the street can be too specific. You know, just think of it with Spartan Court. There's what, 3 houses on Spartan Court? 4 houses?
Yeah, I think it'd be okay just to list the community.
Then it also, like, it's specific to what we're doing here, and like the representatives, okay, well, they represent Redwood Village and,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
Webster, whatever.
What
Well,
about business? Do we have any business owners, or since I represent a community nonprofit, what would you do in my case? Because they
Community,
represent Choice Lake Little League. That's it.
exactly. Yeah.
That's my address,
Yeah.
Choice Lake Little League,
Right.
6005
Well,
College
well-
Grove Drive.
Yeah, well, another possibility too is that the address could be sent in on the form that I send out, and Lynn and I could look at them and just confirm that it's a real address. Not that anyone would make up an address, but you never know. It's these days. And then on the form that's given out publicly, it would just be the community. That is, it'd be a way just to verify that, because for instance, starting potentially will be competing with another community group who wants to represent Eastern area. And we'll probably want to know that they actually live in the Eastern area and not in La Mesa or some other community, and are going, oh, but trust us, I just wrote down El Cerrito, but I live in La Mesa, right? So we probably have to be very careful about, people, not this group, but potential groups using bogus information of residency, I should say.
Yeah, we
So,
used to
I
have
mean,
a-
how would that sound, that the person who's chairing the committee, like the subcommittee, like me and Lynn, or whoever's chairing the whole group, we just simply verify the addresses, and then what comes to the public is simply the area, El Cerrito, Redwood Village, things like that.
Yeah, and I think that sounds fair, because if we do bring, like, after the things change next year, after we get the city council recognition, somebody walks in, Joe Blow, and says, oh, I'm running in the March election. We need an address to know that they actually are one of the six.
Well, we used to always have two rosters. One roster would be just for the board and the
Mhm.
city. And we'd have our name,
Right.
our address, our phone number, our email address, and everybody had it in case we needed to contact each other.
Right.
And then we had a separate roster that was just our name and our community.
I think that's
Yeah.
what we'll share with the
We've
public.
always had, well, we used to have that before. And so, what you're proposing makes total sense. It would
Yeah.
fall into that same line.
Well, it makes it more secure for everybody and keeps our privacy,
Right.
but someone is going to have to verify anyone who's running for a position. Yeah,
And
that's all.
definitely the board would need to be able to contact each other, and the city definitely wants that information.
Yep. Yeah, well, I have to
Yeah.
turn in a roster every time we have an
Yeah.
election.
So we can do that, and
Okay.
I will keep everything confidential, except for Lynn. That will be it.
Oh, that's right.
And then what comes out publicly is going to be, well, much more generic, just area.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Is everyone okay with
Okay.
that? Because next month
Yeah,
will be our election.
do we need to make a motion on any of this stuff, or?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a process. Okay.
There's probably somewhere in
Alright.
our standing rules if we would ever look those up.
Yeah.
Get to find them.
Good
Thank
point,
you.
yeah.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay. All right.
So we'll
That's it
talk.
for me.
Thanks. We'll talk on the next couple of weeks about the ballot.
Okay.
Because
And so, Lynn, before we move on though, so Laura, are you still interested in running for the El Cerrito seat?
Yes, I just have that problem with filling out that.
Okay, cool. And so what that means is Laura's at-large seat will become open.
Well, unless Lorna wants to still be on. I mean, because you mentioned she might possibly still want to be on the board. Lorna, if you decide you want to be on the board, I will gladly stay at large.
Laura, why don't you run for the El Cerrito seat? I'm just really busy. I'm in over my head, and I know we all are, but
Run again next year, Lorna.
thank you, Lynn.
Well, the other
Or
thing,
if the at-large seat doesn't get filled in the election, then we can do in between appointments or something, right? Or elections. It doesn't have to stay vacant, right?
Right.
90 days.
yeah, they can be appointed. Well, the other thing too, anticipating what's going to happen next year is part of the new rules is that there can only be one person from the same property tax parcel. I believe that's right, something like that. So that would mean that Lorna and I could not serve on this body together.
Right.
Starting
One
next
of you
year.
gotta move.
Yeah.
So, and Lorna, Lorna really is swamped with work. So it makes more sense for her to come off than me. But so, yeah, she can serve obviously until the city, passes
Until the
its
city
new
kicks me
rules.
off.
Something like that. Yeah. For bad behavior, man.
Always.
Always. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's it from me.
Okay. Thanks, Alex. We'll need someone to back you up for the election next month, because you need a second person to count. You can't be the sole person counting and reporting the results. And Mr. Hoskins seems to have disappeared. So I'll ask for a volunteer from the board to help Alex next month. That's
Yeah.
someone who's not running for reelection.
Yeah.
Whoever,
It's pretty straightforward. All you gotta do is look at the ballots.
and it'll take 5 minutes. is all.
If that.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, community updates. Let's start with El Cerrito this time. 3 minutes.
It's Alex again.
Oh, Alex again,
Is it Alex again, man?
apparently.
Yeah. So what is El Cerrito doing? Let's see. Did I not report this? Maybe I did. We had Monica Montgomery Stepp at our last community meeting. She was the third city council, supervisor candidate that we've brought to the community, and she was well received and acquitted herself quite well. The upcoming, our next community meeting, actually Laura would know more about this than me. We're thinking about having a like a movie night at
It's gonna have to be the restaurant.
okay. So then the fallback position was having a night out, our usual I believe third Thursday, but maybe a different night, to invite the community to come out to a local restaurant and just kind of talk to each other in person for a change. So I think that's what's on tap for our community for our August meeting.
September, we might be able to get back in. But we couldn't do it for this month.
Okay, that's it from El Cerrito.
Thanks, Alex. Bob, Rolando.
Well, Rolando's dark for the summer months for July and August, but I did want to mention our community improvement team that I lead is in the process of refurbishing the Rolando Village sign that you can see behind me. So I've been painting the main part of the sign, and we have a contractor who lives in the community who offered to have some new posts milled. So pretty soon I'll have the posts painted, and we'll probably install it before our first meeting for this year in September for the community council. So hopefully, it was installed, I think, in 1997. It's been there for 25 years, and so hopefully it'll last another 25. So.
Yeah, I saw Doug Lister's Facebook post, and he doesn't have a sign behind him right now. It looks sort of strange. He's just sitting out there.
No, it's overgrown geraniums right now. So.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Webster, Kristen.
We have also been dark
Okay.
the whole summer, so
Not too much going on.
yes.
Okay.
Well, we have a rock with our name on it, so.
I photographed that rock today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Nice.
because we're looking at a monument sign that might look very
Ah,
much like yours. Rolando.
nice.
Yeah. Richard, Oak Park.
Yes, we've been working with groundwork, and Ramon, I'd like to introduce you to Lupe. She's there. She's gonna be the webmaster temporarily.
Hi, y'all. Hello.
So, but anyway, yeah, we had a peek at it before, and they put something together for us, so now I guess Brian showed me how to work it, so now we're gonna be doing the content and get into the nuts and bolts of it. So, anyway, there's that, there's a little bit of issues that we think are not valid, and it may just go away, but there is a move by some folks to try to push overnight parking into Choias Park. And so we're very much staying on top of that and making all the connections with all the appropriate organizations and groups. So anyways, we're keeping on top of that. So
When do you anticipate is it the website you're working with Groundworks on?
Yeah.
When do you anticipate that being finished? How long do you-
Oh, I know. We'll probably start tomorrow or whenever.
Oh, okay, so you
whenever
haven't even
ground-
started the process yet.
It's already built though.
Oh, okay.
So we just have to add the content. We'll have to get back with you on that if you want.
No, I was just trying to compare timelines so that we know how long Eastern Areas is gonna take. See, you've been working with
Oh, okay.
Groundworks on it,
Yeah,
see,
okay,
so,
we'll see how that. I think, yeah, we'll work on it. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Okay.
What part of Troya's Park, is it North Troya's Park for the overnight parking or near Troya's Lake or?
These folks, they're not very familiar with it because they first said Gloria's Mesa.
Okay,
And then they said, North Troya's Park.
interesting.
I don't think they ever mentioned, and someone mentioned Troya's Lake in a tweet. Troya's Lake Park.
Shane
Right.
Harris.
Yeah, so, but the big thing that bothers us too is that they also mentioned unofficially, the maintenance yard across from the park. And if you're familiar with that maintenance yard,
Mhm.
there's a big open space stretch that connects College Grove Drive and the park all the way down to, down by, not to Federal, but all the way down that way.
Yeah.
So, and there's been a lot of traffic moving through that.
Yeah.
So we're staying on top of that and
Okay.
And the whole emphasis, you gotta give them the big picture. The whole impetus of all of this was because they don't want it over at the Malcolm X Library. So they're trying to find other places to put it in.
Well, we don't want it there either.
Well, yeah.
No, we don't.
yeah, I think that's, we reached out already to Emerald Hills, saying
Mhm.
that, if you want to let our support from the Wolf Park and not have it there.
At the library.
Library, because they're not spreading it out through all of San Diego.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when I'm not very good at my fourth memory. Put your hand out to, give a bone to a dog and they bite your hand. So some people were saying, well, Carl, you want to help us out, let's put it in your park. So
No.
only 2 people are like that. That's it.
Thanks. Yeah. Keep me on the list. Redwood Village?
Well, do you wanna?
I'll do it this time.
Okay.
Because I was there with Lynn and the Rolando Park and Oak Park people and Redwood Village did a big cleanup on Streamview last Saturday morning, and there are a whole bunch of different people who showed up and lent their skills and efforts to cleaning up in and around the Streamview area, the western part of Streamview, lower Streamview, and there were 2 giant dumpsters that were paid for by District 9 and District 4. I think they
Each district contributed a dumpster.
right,
Yeah.
and they were the construction size 40-yard dumpsters, and we filled one all the way up. When I left, there were still, the other one is kind of empty.
We did not, and the reason we didn't fill it is because we had a metal recycler show up.
Yeah, she was.
And she hauled away more than 1,000 pounds of metal.
Yeah.
Or we would have filled the second dumpster.
And she was
So
doing it a little. It was good.
but 2 big loads, and it's something to think about for future is if
Yeah.
we can have a metal recycler there, we're diverting all this stuff from the land.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. In addition to the trash, and we were like going into people's backyards and taking stuff. Like it was pretty interesting. And there were some really pleased people who had no idea we were doing it and would they're like, hey, can I bring something out? And that one house had, 1,000 pounds of stuff that came out of their yard. It was crazy.
Oh, I know they'd had their skylight leaked and ruined all of their flooring. So they
Right.
put all their flooring out for free.
Free on their front, on the sidewalk.
On the front, and we helped them load it all up. Well, then they suddenly realized they had about 20 sheets of plywood
Yeah,
that were rotted out. They
They
just brought everything out, and I think that for me, this is one of the better cleanups. I really enjoyed it because we had trucks, we helped people load it. I mean, we initially said,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to load the dumpster yourself, but everybody there helped people
Yeah.
out. It was really a nice effort. I want to thank Tim Davey back here too.
Yeah, Tim.
Who lives on Streamview and shows up for all of our cleanups. He even showed up Sunday to clean Rolando Park Elementary Joint Use Park up. That's how much he's into cleaning, so.
Makes such a huge difference though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If nothing else, it was really interesting to meet some of the people, like there was this tiny Vietnamese couple, and they were definitely senior citizens, and they were like, what are you doing? There's the one guy there, I forgot his name, but he was a volunteer from La Mesa, and he spoke Vietnamese.
Oh, Jimmy Ho.
Yeah, and he then talked to these people and said, well, do you have any trash in your backyard? And they're like, what do you mean? And so a lot of that metal came from all those bars and stuff, and
Yeah, all of his security
completely
went.
cleaned out their backyard, and they were just so stoked.
Yeah.
And it is I guess my point is you made kind of some friends, really unexpectedly made some connection with people in your neighborhood that you would have,
Yeah.
never would have met before. So
And one reason why we started handing out T-shirts, we have volunteer T-shirts. You show up for 2 cleanups, you get a volunteer swag T-shirt. But people identify you then. They know you are just another resident. You're a volunteer and you're there to help them. And that makes a big difference for them to know that it's not city people or Urban Corps or somebody. These are just residents who are helping other residents.
yeah,
It's a good message.
I think that was really interesting, because when we said, oh yeah, we're just volunteers, they were like, what? Like, I think they thought we were from the city originally.
Well, I noticed someone on next door who actually was sweeping one of the roundabouts down at that end that day. She thanked the volunteers that showed up. And she said, and for those neighbors of you around here who didn't do anything, shame on you.
Well, I have to say that I've really been impressed with Shanila Rivera's emphasis and
Monica.
Monica's
Mhm.
Getting all these dumpsters out and organizing these, because they've done a couple in one in El Cerrito recently. They did college just the other day. We didn't so much take part in the college one, but it's really makes a difference. It really does. And we haven't had the big cleanups where you used to just put stuff out by your curb and the trucks would go down your street and pick it all up. So these are nice to have.
They really are. And that's just the other person I want to thank here too is Roberto and Bruce Williams, who helped us get the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Roberto was there. Bruce came later and stayed and helped us load stuff. About half the cleanup.
I think it's great. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. I know everyone in our neighborhood does too.
Yeah, I do, because it makes a difference. And I will say that about District 9, they're just, don't even hesitate. You need a dumpster for cleanup, we get you a dumpster. And
And I really like you said, the recycling, how they're keeping stuff out of the landfill. They did
Mhm.
something similar with the college one. They had some organization that was going to be able to take a lot of stuff and keep it out of the dumpsters if they could use it. So that's a good way to do things.
I think it really is, yeah. So I will just add, just thank you for on Rolando Park that this is like our 5th cleanup this year with Redwood Village. And then Sunday, we did a cleanup at our joint use park because we're doing a movie in the park on this Saturday. So Tim was there. Thank you. That makes like 8 cleanups for me so far this year. I'm gonna fall over. But so we had the cleanup. We're having a movie in the park at Rolando Park Elementary this Saturday. It's open to the community.
What's the movie?
The Goonies. For whatever reason, people wanted to do some kind of throwback thing, and I've never seen it, but I hear it's great. So
What time?
it's the pre-show starts at 6, the movie starts at dusk, and we're being helped out by our area park department. Colina del Sol are sending over a whole team to organize a pre-show for the kids. They've got arts and crafts. They've got a jumper for the kids, music. Our PTA has got a face painter there. We've got a taco truck. Taco Land is coming. Gelato truck is coming. And then the PTA sells glow jewelry for the kids, and the council is selling sodas and movie candy. I'm polling the community now on your favorite movie candy. So we did it last year for the first time. It was great. And we anticipate this year that we're going to double the number of people we have at the park. So if you need a throwback excuse, come on by or buy a taco, because the money goes, we get 20% of the food sales for it. And then, one last, I want to mention, there's a meeting coming up on August 21st that Groundwork is organizing. And it's a response to the May presentation by the city engineering on Streamview Drive.
Oh,
And the questions and issues that were not resolved. And so at Leslie Reynolds' request, I sent the managing engineer a list of the questions that weren't resolved. And they are coming back on the 21st for a special meeting here from 6 to 8. And engineering will be here. Here at Teen Challenge. Yeah. I have the flyer. I'll send the flyer out to everybody. Somebody I know is going to be out hoofing it this week to deliver some flyers. Not me this.
Ramon is
yeah,
going,
and
Ramon and I are gonna be doing that.
But yeah, it's to try and get the city pinned down as to the things they couldn't finalize for anybody at the May meeting. You know, I did get a copy. They did send the original plans because that was a question that was asked, what happened to the original plans? So the file is 100 megabytes. I won't be sending that out to anyone. I will give you the link. But other questions, you know, just about the funding, the real traffic mitigation, if you get all the roundabouts in, are you going to mitigate the traffic issues? And also what happened to phase 1 and the landscaping plan? So these are questions they know are on the table that they're going to be expected to answer at the meeting.
you might also bring up how they're probably going to have more traffic than they anticipate when Choice Parkway closes, because many years ago, we already had traffic issues through the neighborhoods, and they have some paired up one-way streets, and they had road humps put in and stop signs put in. We had months and months dedicated in 1 or 2 years to traffic cutting through. And now if the Choice Parkway gets closed, I really think a lot of people are going to find ways to cut through. So.
They'll be going through Redwood Village or.
Yeah, so I just want you guys to be able to anticipate that. I'm always surprised at how much cut through traffic little El Cerrito has, because people are going from College to 54th or something. In the morning, there's some streets where you can't even get your car out of your driveway because of the traffic's all the whole road down, waiting to get out on some of these drives. So
don't get me started, because I live between the 94 and University on Aragon Drive, which is now known as Aragon Expressway. Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that loop in there for the conversation.
Okay. No, I think that's good to think about that. Now, I don't think they can think that far ahead, but maybe we can ask them to start.
Could you
Roberta?
explain a little more about how this connects to Eastern Area? Is this an ad hoc committee of Eastern Area?
It's
Is a
not
follow-up-
connected to us per se. It is a follow-up to the May presentation
The May presentation that Eastern Area had.
that we had.
Okay.
And we did have about 30 people here that
Right.
night.
There was a lot of people in the audience.
And a lot of people left not getting the answers that they thought they would get at this meeting. And so Groundwork reached out to the city and just said, you know, people are not happy with the presentation. We didn't hear what we thought we were going to hear about phase 2.
So is there any way that the city can help us to spread the word with this, as you know, a Brown Act kind of a thing? Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, if anybody needs flyers, I have flyers that I can email you if you want to send them out. Ramon and I are gonna go on Friday, and we're taking them to all the homes on Streamview.
Okay.
And we plan to put them in a couple of other places that people might frequent, like the Starbucks and the College Shopping Center. But the other thing that I really wanted to say is that the more people that can come, the better, especially since the city agreed to have the meeting at night. Most of the time it happens during the day, and there's a lot of pushback from people that work during the day saying, can't you have these meetings at night? So the more people we can have show up, the better, because if we do have this meeting at 6 o'clock and then nobody's there, the city is going to be like,
Yeah,
why did we, have this meeting in the evening for you if nobody's going to come?
Can you send us
a digital version of the flyer?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
So we can send it out to the people that we have.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's, there's a Spanish version as well. Okay. I see some hands up, Roberto. Then Lorna.
Yeah, any way we can help, do my usual daily newsletter. Any way I can set that out as well. I have Rolando Park and Redwood Village. But also Lynn and the board, if there's needing any additional follow-up prior to this, making sure that they have answers, making sure that anything like that or any support on that would be happy to help and facilitate. So.
Okay, I'll get the information from Kristen and then I will send it to you so we get it out in the your newsletter this time. Roberto, thank you. Lorna.
Lynn, my comments are just along the same line as Roberto's. If we can get it out, we can send it out to the El Cerrito community. I know a lot of people are probably interested there as well.
Okay, yep. Good, Kristen. You're okay. Ramon.
Yeah, so I can send the email out tomorrow morning or maybe even after this meeting with the flyer in English and Spanish. And I just picked up the flyers earlier today. And we have around 250 to pass around the community.
Thank you, Ramon.
Thanks, Ramon. Anything else on that?
And thank you for working on the flyer. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Bob, do we have anything else we want to say about tree canopy on University?
Yeah, I just want to thank Roberto for meeting with us last week, and I'm really pleased to see that, you know, he's very interested and is in what we're proposing, and you know, will help support us and advocate for us as we move forward here with District 9. So you know, I mean, Lynn, you and I have spoken. There are a couple of other potential contacts. You know, it's going to take a patchwork of organizations probably to make this happen. So the more people that we reach out to and that we can get engaged, I think the better chance we have of making it happen. So.
Yep, I agree. I still have my letter I owe. Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Danielle, Parks and Rec.
Okay, Parks and Rec at the last Kalina meeting, we saw the second version of the Clay Park GDP upgrades. And we were happy with everything except that the dog park is still too small. It's not even as big as what they had proposed across the street in the linear park. So we'll see where that goes. I guess at some point it's going to pop up at Parks and Rec board. And so I will make sure that the dog park is a little bigger, or I will say something again at the Parks and Rec board that the dog park is still too small.
It's too small.
As for Choice, we actually took a month off. We are going to, I think it's every other month now. We're going to try this for the Choice Rec Council on 4th Tuesday. We took July off. Most of us were out of town. So we're going to be meeting in August, and then we'll skip September, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll kind of be on the different months than the Kalina meetings, because several of us are on both councils. So it helps with our schedules. And Park and Rec board was dark in August. So the next meeting will be in the middle of September. And let's see. Choice Lake Little League is starting up with fall ball. And at last Saturday, there was something over in the City Heights area at the Ocean Discovery Institute, and it had to do with reaching out to neighborhoods to be more equitable in planning, and some of the master plans that the city is looking at to create are the Choyas Creek Watershed Regional Park improvement, the whole master plan. For that, citywide trails master plan is another one that's coming down the pipe in a little while. And there was a third one I wrote down. Like my scribble notes here. Engagement in the webs page, Torres Creek master plan. Oh, walk audits too. They were planning to do that kind of stuff. So I was only able to attend the first third or fourth of the get together that was there on Saturday morning. So if either Lynn or Kristen, who did stay probably for the whole thing, wants to join in, I'm turning it over to you two ladies. That's what I can remember for Parks and Rec. Thanks.
Thanks. It's called Equity Forward.
Equity
Yes.
Forward
Yep.
Planning Department.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
They just wanted input from community members as to how to engage with the city. What things we're hoping to get from the Troyes Creek
watershed.
regional,
Regional master.
it's like a mouthful, regional.
Norris Creek.
We need
Watershed
an
Regional
acronym really
Yes.
bad.
So it was just an outreach, one of several that are going to be coming up. So if you guys are interested in attending any in the future, we'll let you know when they're happening.
Yep. Oh, I had a question. There is, or has, for Bob, sorry, Bob. During my report, did the movie in the park already happen over at Clay?
No, it's.
Joint use, or is that coming up also?
It's,
Is it next
it's a
week?
night, next Saturday.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
a week after the one at Rolando Park, so we didn't have them on both the same night like we did last summer. And then, sorry, I have one more thing. At Kalina Park on the 18th, this one I do remember, they're having their movie in the park plus end of the summer bash, backpack giveaway, teen night, futsal, all kinds of fun stuff for the kids over at Kalina on the 18th. So yours is the 10th, 12th.
Yeah,
Then there's the
Kalina, and then
Kalina. and
they're
then Clay.
staggered apart, and that was, we
Okay.
asked, yeah, because last year we had 2 on Friday and 2 on Saturday.
Yeah, we were just.
It was just like, wow.
Yep,
So,
so,
Danielle, what are the times for that?
probably, like 6 o'clock to, and then the movie starts at 8. I do, maybe Lorna, if you're on your computer, if you want to share with everybody, the one at Kalina, I know is on the 18th. But,
So
so
like
I'm
6 to
assuming
11.
Clay is on the 19th on a Saturday?
Yeah, I don't remember because I don't have.
Because
the
I
flyer
know
from last
teen
year.
night's always on Friday nights at Kalina, so it has to be on the 18th on the Friday night, so. And then the next day we'll be up at Clay Park with the same kind of thing. All of the staff at Kalina are gonna be up there, and engaging the kids with arts and crafts and stuff like that. So they're, Kalina, has some amazing, a center director and now an assistant center director, and they're getting, not just doing things at Kalina, but they're getting out into the other, parks and, helping out, doing fun stuff before the movie actually starts.
Yeah, we're excited.
So, sorry.
That's okay.
The
Seeing those-
Kalina stuff always affects my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be, noisy over there on Friday night, the 18th.
Okay, thanks, Danielle.
Okay, great. Now I got it all.
Mario's not here. I just wanted to say we do have a tentative schedule for the University Bikeway project, which is next summer. So they will be finishing the water project on University Avenue sometime this winter. It starts at the end of this month and should run 4 to 6 months. And then they're just going to patch the road. And then the Bikeway project goes out for bid this fall, and they are supposed to start it next summer. That's key to trying to get trees on University, because we want to try and get them to start at the west end of the Bikeway first, so that we have a little bit more time to try and get the trees in on University. Let's see. So, I have more updates for us at our next community council meeting, but there's a lot more sewer and water replacement stuff going on both of our communities along the college streets, that'll start next spring. So anybody who's going to be driving around trying to get to college and university for about the next 2 to 3 years is going to find it a little challenging. I'm just saying, folks, I do have a map and I'll send the map out, but yeah,
Does it
stuff
have
that's been
prospective dates on it?
yeah. And stuff that's been delayed, for a really long time is finally just all happening at once. Yep.
So it worked.
Yeah. Laura, I put some time down on this, the subcommittee for the community plan update, but we're on pause right now.
Yeah.
We're ahead of the other 3 committees,
Way ahead.
way ahead. So we're put this on pause for now because I'm going to segue into the ad hoc committee for our planning group application for the city council recognition. There's another acronym that needs to be right away. We're going to devote that schedule that time, which will be the fourth Wednesday at 7 o'clock, through November to get our application done. The application itself is nothing. It's the documents that go with it. So we have 3 documents that are going to be due. One on ethical standards, operating procedures, and the community representation and participation plan. So I'll send out the Zoom invite. That's the one thing we found at the workshop is that it's an ad hoc committee. So we can meet via Zoom.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, so it's Laura, Kristen, Bob, myself, and Alex is an alternate if we need him. So my plan would be that we come back to each meeting with 1 document for the next 3 months. And the board approves it, lock it down so that by November, we're done with all 3 documents. And I will get those all submitted by the end of November, a month ahead of time. That way we will still adjourn in December like we usually do. And it seems quite doable. We have templates for everything, thanks to Kristen.
That will make it easier.
Yeah, so it's just getting it together. And like we just saw about the bylaws, maybe some things we hadn't thought about, like being out for an extended period that we need to put in our bylaws.
Or possibly see if we have standing rules, because I thought we had 3 at one point.
3 standing rules?
I think we do.
Who has them? That's what I'd like to.
Our city planner.
No, I'm.
A copy of the bylaws and the 3 standing rules.
Oh,
I
the
think it's
bylaws we
3.
have, yeah, but the standing rules?
They should be attached to like the last pages of the bylaws.
I don't think I saw them. And Kristen and I both looked at the bylaws. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure I can find them.
Okay.
At least copies of the documents, PDFs or something.
They're at least 20 years old.
I know they're pretty. I don't know about 20 years old. I don't think so. I think we redid them. Well, I would say they're 10, 15 years old.
Okay.
And not 20.
Yeah. So I would also say that one of the reasons why we're a little casual about the community plan update right now too is that we're waiting for that sand egg report on existing conditions before we can start the community plan update. And that is pushed out to 2025 now. As the college update is pushed out almost another year, all the community plan updates are being pushed out because the city wants to complete that blueprint, blueprint for growth first.
Blueprint San Diego.
Yeah, they want to complete that first. So they just basically put the other community plan updates on hold till they finish that. So the urgency that we thought we had is not so urgent right now. It's much more urgent that we get our application done and be done with that part of it.
When you look at the blueprint time frame online, though, it still says they're trying to do it by 2024.
Yeah.
They're trying to get it to city council by, it says winter 2020.
The blueprint
or maybe the planning commission by winter of 2023 into 24, like December through January. Yeah. It's coming. It looks like the timeline's much shorter than some of the other stuff. And I'm on the blueprint subcommittee, and we met last night, and we're going in depth over the land use element and the mobility element. We're going to meet again in September to discuss it with the CPC.
So this is a subcommittee of CPC.
This is a subcommittee of CPC.
Wonderful. Who else is on that subcommittee?
David Modi,
Yay.
some people from Point Loma, La Jolla, a guy from Claremont, Andrea Schlageter, who is the Ocean Beach. So we've got a lot of areas. Yeah, and Tom Mulaney.
About 9 people then, huh?
8 of
Okay.
us. And I think we're going to do a good job. We talked a lot about how right now the draft that's out doesn't take into consideration things that we would necessarily like to see considered. So, well, like that, once again, it still looks like they're trying to shove everything south of 8, and as far as a lot of development. And we think it should be more balanced through the city, particularly by the employment centers. And because you force people south of 8 to have to take transit for 2 hours. We don't have these, quick transit stops from one location to another. You have to walk to a transit stop, get on, you might have to transfer a time or two, and then you still have to walk to your end place. And by the time you do that, a lot of times you're talking 1.5 to 2 hours. That's on one rate. Then you have that same trip on the way home. So your 8-hour day is now a 12-hour day just to go to work. So we're trying, and if the Bay Area has a plan that tried to limit the length of time for a transit and put more housing close to the centers and the opportunity centers, which we think makes more sense. Well, some of us do. I mean, we're all discussing. So
Some of us.
anyway, we're probably going to be recommending more emphasis on that.
Okay.
It doesn't, you can't put in enough trees, you can't put in enough infrastructure with the plan they have now for this equity that they keep talking about either. The equity needs to be more citywide and not keep being shoved. So that's what we think. We'll see. One thing too, I wanted to just talk about, Becky brought up the point that
No,
the CPC oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were doing the CPC.
no, it's not on there because you were dark in July.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even
just
put it
wanted
on
to address Becky's point about the CPC and the cannabis places.
Okay.
She's 100% right. When we had the first meeting, there was not going to be any zones for the CPC locations. And we were even told that they highly anticipated many were going to be at all the beach communities and downtown because people who are on vacation like to recreate and include cannabis and access to cannabis in their recreating. And so this new zone thing that she talked about is completely different than anything we heard in any way, shape, or form. And now I'm real concerned from the report she gave us, because now they're saying there's going to be 12 north of 8 and there's going to be 24 south of 8.
Yeah.
And 12 of those are in our stretch, because that was between 8 and 94. So 12 of them are going to be D9, D4.
Well, they're either going to be on alcohol.
So we should
or
maybe
university.
hear more about this. And another thing they're doing, which is real concerning, is they're trying, when they first established the cannabis stuff, it took years to get it all going, and they were very deliberate about safety zones. You couldn't be by schools, private or churches or recreation areas, all sorts of big lists. And it was supposed to be like 1,000 feet. And now they've taken it down to, I don't even know if they have, I think they have one allocation and it's 600 feet and only a school. All the others got left off. And all that careful deliberation that was put into the first bill shouldn't be changed by this additional units kind of thing. They should keep all those standards, even if they're going to add more sites. So anyway, it wouldn't hurt us to hear this. It would be very interesting.
Sure.
And I'm very curious about how these numbers have flipped on this locations.
Roberto, did you have a comment on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was having trouble with my muting here. Yeah, so what we can do is, Jeffrey is actually in charge of cannabis policy. He's very knowledgeable in that. So we can I can relay this information to him and so that he can take a look at it and report back. We can also inquire city staff to come to the Eastern Area Planning Committee. It's totally up to you guys and whatever you guys want to decide, but we're open to getting you guys some answers on that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know. I'll put them on the agenda. Anything else? Otherwise, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night now.
Yeah.
Detailed question about the website that Ramon showed us.
On the 21st. I don't know if you're interested. or not.
Pages?
If you
Well,
are, let me know.
it's, yeah, but there, I mean, it's linked.
There's
Mhm.
a lot of links, but
On the 21st.
I'm sure.
We wanted to have maybe 4 people that have
There's some stuff we
something
won't,
they would like to talk about.
because I
Um,
maintain our,
and I
our
didn't know if
website
you
for
wanted to
my
talk
community
about
council, and
if you want to.
so I will
No-
push
no
that, because
pressure.
I see some things that I would like to see.
But if you
about how
wanted
it's
to
arranged.
talk about the trees and landscape
Well, always, yeah.
that were promised
So
in
I'll
phase
provide some
1
content
and
and
have
then
not
we're
come to
gonna
fruition, and the
simplify
fact
it.
that we don't want a
We don't-
repeat of that in
The things
phase
that I,
2.
yeah.
Like lab it out.
Right.
No. We keep it.
The last time I saw.
Night, Tony, thank you.
Yes,
Um,
but they
things
were
like,
also in phase 1
information about us should
and
just
they
be drop down tab about
are not
us.
there.
It tells.
They
our
were in the
background a
drawings,
little
Yeah.
bit.
but
Our
then nothing
page
ever
should be
happened.
really
So
about
we
our
don't
meeting,
want them to be
a
in the
link to the
drawings for
agenda.
phase 2 and
Maybe
then,
you do
oh,
want to
ha,
see.
ha, we just put in this stamped concrete and you're not getting anything.
Yeah, see our 6 neighborhoods.
So how can we make sure that the landscaping that's in phase 2 will actually be there? Because it was in phase 1 and clearly it's not there.
Yeah.
No, it'll be very
So-
simple. We'll probably just have like
I
some
don't know
events,
whether I-
maybe an
yeah,
event
it's not
tab.
part of
You don't
my
have to
community
decide right
event
now,
tab, and
but
maybe
just
6
let me know
communities.
and then
I sort of, I, in my
um,
mind, I know
maybe
how it should
a
look.
week.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you, Sam.
A week and a half before the meeting.
All right, good night, everyone online. We're
Right.
done.
Well, and
Oh,
that's
it's
the
just me.
reason why